What's up, YouTube? I'm back at you with another video. In this video, I'm going to give my prediction for the national championship matchup between the Washington Wolverines versus the Washington Huskies. This should be an exciting matchup. You got a great team in Washington with Kalen DeBoer as their head coach, and got a great offensive mind in Ryan Grubb. Uh, he has that Washington offense playing at a very, very high level. And they're going to be going against a great team in Michigan with Jim Harbaugh. And Michigan has a pretty good offense as well with Sharon Moore. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens in this matchup. Essentially, it's a great offense versus a good defense. So whenever those two things match up, it's always fun football to watch. I'll just read out some stats. I'm going to start with Washington. Uh, Michael Penix Jr., man, this guy is very, very talented. And my opinion, uh, it was between him and Jaden Daniels as far as the Heisman. Uh, came down to those two guys, and he's thrown for 4,648 yards on the season. I mean, that's really, really good completion percentage of 66.7. He's thrown for 35 touchdowns with 9 receptions. This guy's story, man, coming from Indiana with all those injuries and decided to hit the reset button and went to Washington. And boy, did he just take off from there. Definitely the key cog in their offense, man. Everything throws through him, but a really, really good quarterback, man. Uh, it's just amazing, like his story and everything like that. Just a really, really good player, and it's just always good to see things like this happen for a player as Michael Penix Jr. Man, just an elite player at the quarterback position. He has a guy behind him in Dylan Johnson at running back who's rushed for 1,162 yards. Uh, he has 16 touchdowns on the season, so he's their main guy. Uh, yeah, he has a significant amount of more touchdowns than anybody. He has 222 carries, so definitely a guy, main guy for the Washington Huskies offense. But that wide receiver core was really, really good for them. Rome Odunze, he has 1,553 yards receiving with 13 touchdowns. Then they have Jalen Pope. He has 1,122 yards receiving with 9 touchdowns. But they also got guys like Jalen McMillan. Uh, he has 526 yards, and then uh, Jeremy Bernard. But those two top guys are Dunze and Pope, man. That Washington offense is really, really elite on the back end. Elite NFL caliber wide receivers, man. Like I said, Ryan Grubb, man. He's getting paid healthy up there in Washington, and deservingly so. I mean, this offense is really, really good, and definitely top 10 as far as offenses in the country. So, really, really good team for Washington, and the offensive line is really, really good as well. They're highly ranked in the Pac-12, so just a good overall wide receiver core, man, and Washington, Michigan's defensive ends, man. Like, the whole defense is going to have problems, I feel, especially on the back end. If Michael Penix Jr. has time in that pocket, Michigan's going to have some problems, man. So, really, really good team overall. Defensively, they got guys like Dominic Hampton. He's the leading tackler at cornerback position with 98 tackles. Really, really talented team overall. Jabbar Muhammad, man, this guy is an elite player at the secondary position, man, at the cornerback position. He has 3 interceptions on the season, man. This guy is a ball hawk, man. He's all over his particular wide receiver. So uh, Michigan's going to have their hands full, I feel, especially if this offense can get running, man. It's been shown in the past that Michigan can struggle with a really, really good offense once it's humming. But I'm going to read off Michigan stats. Michigan, man, J.J. McCarthy is no slouch himself, man. Doesn't have as much, passing yards as Michael Penix Jr., but he's definitely a guy that knows how to operate that offense. Michigan's very, very physical at the line of scrimmage, man. And their bread and butter is running the ball, but they can throw some wrinkles in there that can keep your defense honest as well. J.J. McCarthy's thrown for 2,851 yards. He has 22 touchdowns and 4 interceptions, has a complete percentage of 73.2, so a higher percentage than Michael Penix Jr., but he throws the ball less, the more methodical with their offensive approach. Rushing wise, man, Blake Corum, just an elite rusher, man. 1,111 yards rushing with 25 touchdowns, man. So, I mean, he's just an elite player, man. But they also have a guy, Donovan Edwards, behind him. He's elite as well. So, this Michigan team, man, with Sharon Moore calling the offense, man, I mean, they can throw some wrinkles at any team and cause some problems. Particularly, they gave my Alabama Crystal Tide problems. So, uh, Washington shouldn't go in this matchup thinking that uh, Michigan can't mix it up. Michigan is very, very physical for one, and then they can throw some wrinkles in there, man, with Sharon Moore. So really, really good offense for Michigan. Not rushing, but wide receiver core, Roman Wilson, man, 735 yards receiving. Coastland Loveland at the tight end position, he has 585 yards. Roman Wilson has 12 touchdowns. Roman Loveland, he has 4 touchdowns. So, like I said, Michigan's not super dynamic offensively, but they're very, very elite at the line of scrimmage and running the ball, man. And that could be a problem for Washington. Washington has gave up, some rush yards to some teams, past. So it's going to be interesting to see how physical Washington's going to be at the line of scrimmage. You know, in my opinion, this is going to be the most toughest team that they played so far this season at the line of scrimmage. So can Washington get around Michigan's? Can they dominate the line of scrimmage? It's going to be very, very key for them to win this matchup. Um, Defensively for Michigan, the number one defense in the country. Washington hasn't seen a defense like this all season. This is going to be a huge test for Washington to go against this team. Junior Carlson has 89 total tackles with 2 passes defended, man. But their line, man, is just really, really good. They're very, very deep, um, very, very gap sound. I mean, they play very, very sound defense, and they're just really, really, really good, man. Against my Tide, man, just the sheer couple of drives that they did, man, just the blitzes that they showed. I mean, just really, really good defense. Like I said, this is going to be Washington's biggest test of the season to go against this team. Mike Sanderstill, I might be pronouncing his name wrong, has 5 interceptions on the season. Michigan's secondary, man, a whole lot better than Texas's secondary. You know, Texas had a weakness on the back end, and Washington was able to exploit it. But Michigan's secondary is a whole lot better than Texas, in my opinion. Their secondary, the guys play really, really good coverage. It's very, very hard to separate from these guys. So it's going to be a very good matchup between Washington and Michigan. Now I'm going to read off both teams' last couple opponents that they played and just give you a better understanding of what they did this season. Now with Washington beat Utah. Really, really good team in Utah. I felt Utah wasn't at full strength this season. Their main quarterback Cam Rising wasn't able to play this season, so that was a bummer for them. But beat a good team in Utah, 35-28. Then they went on the road to Oregon State and beat Oregon State 22-20. Kind of a rough game for Washington. They beat their in-state rival Washington State 24-21. Beat Oregon twice, but the second time they beat them 34-31. Then they beat Texas again. They beat them in the Alamo Bowl, and then they beat them in the semifinals 37-31. So Really, really good last 5 matchups for Washington, man. Like I said, just had a phenomenal season, especially offensively. Michigan, they went on the road to Penn State, beat them 24-15. They beat a Maryland team 31-24. Kind of a rough game, for Michigan, but you never felt like Michigan was going to lose that game. Then they beat Ohio State for the third time. It's very, very hard to beat a team like Ohio State 3 years in a row. Michigan was able to do that. They beat them 30-24, man. Really, really good win for Michigan. Then they went on to the championship. They beat Iowa 26-0. Then they beat Alabama in the semifinal 27-20 in overtime. So Michigan's last 5 opponents, really, really good team. Michigan beat both Ohio State and Alabama the same year. So that can't be overlooked. That's a really, really good, season for Michigan. And was able to get their first in a while, playoff victory against Alabama. So really, really good team in Michigan. I'm looking at the line. The line is 4.5 points for Michigan. Um, I had to give my predictions for this video. I actually went back and forth on who I thought was going to win this matchup. You have the element where Washington, I feel like, has a path to victory if they can somewhat block up front, really, really good against that Michigan defense. I believe Washington can win this matchup really, really good. They have the players on the outside, and they're very talented everywhere on that offense. Michigan's path to victory: win the line of scrimmage, slow the game down, keep a guy like Michael Penix Jr. off the field. That's how you beat teams like Washington. That's high scoring offenses. You got to be able to slow the game down. It's going to come down to, like, I feel like the line of scrimmage. I can honestly see, it's hard to pick this game. I can honestly see Washington win this game. I really can. Um, It'll be their toughest matchup this season, going against that defensive front in Michigan. Michael Penix Jr., man, uh, he's the difference maker on that offense, man. Really, really good team in Washington. But my mind's telling me that Michigan's going to win this matchup. And the reason why I say that, people always hear the saying that defense wins championships. Michigan has a really, really good defense. Washington hasn't seen anything like this. Now, Washington can negate the defense by getting the ball out quick, and that's something that Michael Penix Jr. does. If Michael Penix Jr. can also run in this matchup, like scramble out the pocket, Washington has a very, very, very good chance of winning this matchup. But my mind is telling me that Michigan is going to win this matchup simply at the line of scrimmage. Michigan has shown that they're very, very physical, and they're really, really good, at running the ball. And I think Washington's defense is going to be their downfall. I know they've been injured, and supposedly they're going to get a lot of guys coming back, if I'm not mistaken. But even then, I think Washington's defense is going to be the downfall for them. And there's a very good chance that Michigan can have a big lead. If they get like a 21 point, like a 20 to 21 to 0 point lead, I don't see a path to victory for Washington to win this matchup. Against Texas, Texas had a chance at the end, I felt like. But and that's interesting too. In my opinion, I felt like Texas had a really, really good defensive front, but Washington was able to block them, and he made some great throws down the field. So, like I said, this matchup is hard to pick, man. But if I had to pick somebody, I'm going with Michigan. I just think they'll slow the game down, keep Michael Penix Jr. out the game. That's the formula, in my opinion. Keep him out the game. Take advantage of the run game. If it's there, just keep going. And Michigan loves to run the ball. I just got Michigan win this matchup, but I could be wrong. Washington could come back and win this matchup, and it wouldn't even surprise me, But what do you guys think? Leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. And once again, if you haven't, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And I'll definitely be back with more college football content. Thanks, guys, and roll tide.